Hi, this is Senpai Liam here once again, and right now we'll be talking about the simple interest. So, simple interest is a method to calculate the amount of interest charged on a sum at a given rate and for a given period of time. So, there are formulas that will be used on this problem. Before we're gonna dig deep on the problem, we will need to discuss those formulas on it. So, the basic formula that we have on your high school years or senior high school years, which is the I equals to PIN, and some they will call it I equals to PRT, and they're both the same because R is the rate and T is for the time. But here we are using the formula I equals to PIN. I is for interest, P is for the principal value, I for the interest rate, and N is for the number of years. So to get the future value, there are two formulas. So after getting the interest, you will have the principal value or the present value plus the interest of it, and that's your future value. And here in this part is the derivation on how this formula was being created. So this is the long cut process, but we prefer here as f equals to p plus I. And another formula for the future here, that is the basic one or the common one, which is the f equals to principal times the quantity of 1 plus interest rate times the number of years. So this is how us or engineers usually recommend this formula for any problem. So right now we will be further discussing the problem 1 here. So problem 1 here stated that a certain amount is borrowed for 72 days at 17% per annum. Using ordinary simple interest, what is that given or certain amount if the due at the end of 72 days is 7,238 pesos. So before we dig down here, we will need to identify the given. So what are the given here? We have here the n, which is the number of years. What is our n here? Our n is 72 over 360. So take note, guys, that there's a note here. Okay, I'll put a note here. This is a note. If this is a note for those. So if the problem is silent, that is the ordinary days, which is 360 days with a silent problem. If exact days, it is 365 days, and if it's exact days, that is on leap year, that is 366 days. So always take note with that in that problem. So in this problem here that we have, it's a silent problem, so that is over 360, and our principal here, as you can see, it is 7,238 pesos, and we have the interest here, which is 17%. So they are asking what is the present value, or yes, the present value with this at the end of 72 days. So as you can see here in the problem, they're asking for it. what was that certain amount if the due is at the end of 72 days. Also, it has given the problem which is the future. That's a future which is 7,238. 7,238 is a future because it's end of 72 days. Are asking for the present value. So in order for you to solve with this, we will use this formula here, which is f equals to p plus 1 plus in, and this formula will be used here. So this is, since we're getting the present value, we'll divide this one to this in. So after this one, we have here the substitute of value, which is 7,238 pesos divided by 1 plus, what's the interest? 17% or 0.17 times the number of years, which is 72 over 360 equals to P. And the value for this is 7,000 pesos. So as you can see, guys, that's how to attack the first problem, but we will proceed to the next problem. So here in the second problem, here it's 6,000 pesos is borrowed for 75 days at 18% per annum. How much will be due at the end of 75 days? Exact simple interest. So in the first problem, it stated that it's silent. At the second problem, it stated it's an exact. So right now, we will be further identifying those given for number 2. So n is equivalent to 7, since it says stated is 75 days, all over, and decided is 365. That's our n. Then our principal, since it's borrowed, the amount is 6,000, and the interest rate is 18%. So what we'll do here is solve for the exact interest. So since it's only finding for the exact interest, we'll be only using this solution. So in this solution, we have here the 6,000 times the interest of 0.18 times the over 3/365, which is equivalent to I, and the interest here is I equals 221.9178082. That will be the value for our interest. However, since it's fighting for the future value, we will further use the future value, which is f equals to p plus I, which is let me see, which is the 6,000, which is our principal, f equals to 6,000 plus the interest is, we'll copy this interest here, $6,000. So our present value is 622.918 or 92 pesos. that is our future value. So this is the first way. This is our first way to solve the problem, first way. But we have here the second way to attack this problem. Second way. So this is our first way, and let's highlight this one. And this is our second way to highlight this one. And we could further use this problem or this solution, this one, this solution, this one. This is more easier compared to the there. Just do the equation form here. So we're gonna substitute the value f equals to 6,000 times 1 plus 0.18 times the days, which is 75 over 365, which is the interest or the future value. It is 6221.92. They're both the same way, as you can see. If you will check the calculator here, guys, if you will check your calculator on your end, they're both the same way on, or the value is just the same on how you attack the first and the second problem.